You ever notice that in America, Jesus always shows up every 4 years? Usually right before an election. He's suddenly pro gun, pro life, pro border, pro tax cuts, and depending on the party, maybe even pro weed and pro woke. Funny how he always agrees with your side or your platform. Because in this country, we didn't just politicize faith, we franchised it. And now everybody's selling it. Let's get something straight out the gate. This isn't a both sides are equally bad. This is both sides are differently dangerous. I mean, they don't fall or fail the same way. They don't lie about the same things, but they do lie loudly, constantly. And they do both use faith, virtue, and morality as tools, not truths. The right uses religion to punish, the left uses it to posture. The right wraps the Bible around power, the left slaps a progressive sticker on an empty box. And meanwhile, the public gets whiplash, the vulnerable get crushed, and faith becomes theater. So, let's tear it down, piece by piece. Let's start with the political right. This is the side that says America is a Christian nation, that God wrote the Constitution, that Jesus carries a concealed weapon and votes Republican. Here's how the right weaponizes religion. 1. Identity politics through faith. You're not just a Republican. You're a God-fearing American. Every political battle becomes spiritual warfare. 2. The enemies list. LGBTQ people, Muslim, immigrant, feminist, journalist, teacher. They're not just different, they're evil. And once you cast them as enemies of God, you don't owe them anything. 3. Spiritual exceptionalism. We are the chosen. Our sins are forgiven. Theirs are dangerous. That's not faith. That's fascism in church clothes. 4. Moral absolutism without accountability. Trump is the poster child. Violates every value evangelicals claim to care about. But he gives them power, and that's all that matters. 5. Theocracy by stealth. They don't say it out loud, but they're building it. From abortion bans to school censorship, this isn't about protecting values, it's about preserving control. Now let's swing to the left. The left doesn't want a theocracy, but they've got their own game. They don't sell religion, they sell moral superiority. They don't pray from pulpits, they preach from TED Talks. 1. Performative progressivism. Quoting Bible verses during campaigns, then voting for war. Pride flags in June, police funding in July. Faith on Instagram. 2. Empty inclusivity. The left is a party of diversity unless you're poor or inconvenient or not on brand. 3. Faith leaders as props. Platform black pastors forget their communities. Invoke Jesus when it polls well. 4. Corporate morality. Rainbow logos from companies that lay off workers and fund both sides of war. It's not real. It's marketing. So, here's where left and right link arms. Quietly. 1. Outrage is oxygen. Both manufacture enemies, both turn complexity into purity tests. 2. Neither will challenge real power. They won't touch corporate greed, the war machine, or systemic rot. 3. Faith is a weapon. On the right, faith justifies cruelty. On the left, it excuses apathy. In both cases, the vulnerable get crushed. So, who pays the price? You know who loses? Not the pastors, not the politicians. It's the people at the margins. Queer teens kicked out by Christian parents. Women denied care. Poor families lost in the system. All while billionaires sponsor both campaigns. Because when morality is just branding, justice never shows up. So here's the truth. You don't have to pick a side. You can exit the binary. You can say, I believe in community, not campaigns. I believe in Jesus, not cosplay. I believe in nuance over noise. Gen X, we were made for this moment. Time to walk off the stage. Here's something they never mention in those Bible-thumping, flag-waving God as a Republican sermons. Jesus was an immigrant, born into an occupied land, fled as a refugee to Egypt to avoid political violence. Lived as a stateless person, preached across borders, was rejected in his own hometown. The man had no home address, no wealth, no citizenship. And yet today, the loudest voices claiming to love him are building walls, turning away refugees, and demonizing immigrants. The same people who post about loving Jesus on Facebook will vote for the same policies that will deport people who look and live exactly like Jesus did. You can't worship a brown-skinned, border-hopping preacher who said, love your neighbor, and then cheer when ICE raids a migrant shelter. Jesus didn't run for office. He ran from kings. He didn't build empires. He spoke against them. If he showed up in Texas today, they'd accuse him of trespassing, call him a threat, and throw him in a detention center. So, if you claim to follow Jesus, but you're silent or worse, complicit, when people are criminalized for seeking safety and fleeing poverty, then you're not following Jesus. You're following empire. So let's land this with five real moves forward. 1, break up with tribalism. If your tribe never admits wrong, it's a cult. Get out. 2, refuse weaponized faith. If someone uses religion to hurt, that's not faith, that's control. 3, think local. Act human. Fund mutual aid. Build people power. Forget hashtags. 4, call out hypocrisy, especially your own. That's growth, not shame. And 5, make morality tangible. Food, shelter, safety, dignity. That's the new gospel. So, the left and the right have both failed us. One by weaponizing faith, the other by selling it. You don't have to play. You can question everything, doubt loud, build different. Raised by Boomers isn't here to start a movement. We're here to end the performance. Subscribe, share, burn the binary. Then build something real. Because we didn't fall for the show, we just haven't finished the teardown.